Hello, this is Carrie Jordan from the Rise Collective, and today we are reclaiming our relationship with snake because it is known in the legend or the story of St. Patrick that he was the one who drove the snakes out of Ireland. And many people say that this is kind of a metaphor. And what really happened is that he drove the pagans out of Ireland and the people, the indigenous people. And through my research, I'm not entirely sure I believe that. There is a lot of conflicting information, which makes sense because he was alive a long, long time ago. And the history of Ireland is sort of convoluted. There were a lot of invaders, and I doubt that St. Patrick was the one who single-handedly drove the pagans or the snakes out of Ireland. However, I think a lot of us do have this story and this idea about him in our consciousness. And there are many pagan earth-based indigenous cultures that are associated with the snake. The snake is associated with the femininity and the sacred feminine. And I want to introduce the idea that perhaps that is an idea that we've created from our esoteric studies, and I want to introduce the idea that perhaps the snake is kind of gyrating between the masculine and the feminine. And I think that this snake is a beautiful metaphor for the marriage of the masculine and feminine. When I think of a snake kind of slithering side to side, it's like this balance between left and right, masculine and feminine. And I love that idea. And so in these times, we are really, I believe, working toward a marriage of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. And that's what I'm invoking in this ritual, this snake reclamation ritual. And another thing that the snake really symbolizes is movement. Our spine really resembles a snake, the spinal column. And it's also associated with rhythm and dancing and sexuality and pleasure, and also the dark underworld. I think we all know the story of Eve and how she was, kind of got in trouble by being associated with snake. And I've heard it said that one role that the stationary benches, the pews in churches play, is that they assure that people don't dance, because people being in touch with their sexuality and their power and their pleasure is potentially dangerous. So that is part of what we are exploring today, is our desire and our pleasure and what lives in the sacral chakra, that fiery creative energy. When we hear of someone having a kundalini awakening, it's the awakening of the snake within, and this energy traveling up the spinal column. And so today we are going to go into a movement meditation where we connect with this snake, the serpentine nature of our spinal column. And my hope is that it will awaken your desire and awaken your sexuality and your feminine nature. So let's begin with you sitting in a comfortable spot with your root reaching into the earth and your spinal column straight and in a comfortable position. And begin to roll your neck from left to right. Warm up your neck and your spinal column. And now I want you to come to your knees and come to cat-cow position. And instead of going into the cat-cow yoga move, I want you to kind of slither, warm up your spinal column by slithering your shoulders and your pelvis from side to side, as if your spinal column were a snake. And just do whatever movement here feels good to you. Maybe you're rolling your hips and making hip circles, rolling your rib cage one way and then the other way. And the point of this is not to do it right. The point of it is to do what feels good on your spine and on your body. And now that you're warmed up, let's try sideways tilting. So come to your feet, standing, and come to standing with your knees slightly bent. Begin slowly tilting your pelvis from one side to another and back. It's sort of a subtle movement. So try to do it without shifting your weight from one leg to another. You're keeping balanced weight in each leg and each foot. And breathe, come into touch with your breath. Relax your belly, relax your anus, relax all of your genital areas. And notice how your pelvis relates to your chest and shoulders. Do you tilt your hips from side to side and your shoulders stay still, or do your shoulders move too? Just notice what happens. There's not a right or wrong. And notice that your pelvic movement is starting to outline the shape of a bowl. And here I want you to breathe through the bowl of your pelvis. So as you're breathing through your nose, you're bringing the breath down into your pelvic bowl. And let your mind become an empty bowl as well, so that you're present and you're listening, you're noticing what's happening in your body. And now, have your feet about 10 inches apart with your knees bent, and try tilting your pelvis forward while you flatten the small of your back. So it has the sensation of tucking your tail in and pushing your pubic bone forward as much as possible so that your back is lengthening. And now slowly lift your arms and imagine yourself hugging a giant ball that's pressed against your body. And let your head drop. So in this position, your spine should be slightly curled inward. And now you're going to tilt the pelvis back, arch your whole spine, and your shoulders and head will fall back slightly, and open your arms as if you're opening your heart to the universe. And we're going to go back into that position with the ball. Tuck your tail. Curve your spine forward. And keep your knees relaxed and bent. And now, arch your spine backwards. Bring your arms back. Let your head drop backwards. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale as you come forward. Arch your back forward. Drop your chin to chest. Tuck your tail. Bring your arms in front of you. And then once again, exhale as you open up. So you are arching your spine back and forth. So do this a few more times to warm your spine and get into your spine. You're naturally developing your serpentine undulations here. So keep alternating between them, moving very slowly. Gently arch your back in both directions. And you're welcome to shake your legs when they get tired. Breathe. You're moving like a flower, opening into sunlight and gently closing as the sun goes down. And now that you're familiar with these arches, we're going to move into spinal waves, which gently release tension along the spine and increase our flexibility and realign our vertebra. So you have been moving between an arched, expanded position and a fully contracted position in a slow wave of your spine. So now you're going to push your pelvis forward, tucking your tail, and let the impulse of doing that with your pelvis travel upward. So the wave reaches your heart and shoulders, curls them forward, and finally your neck and head follow. It's sort of like ragdoll in yoga. And then once again the wave begins at the base of the spine, and this time you're opening your spine to the arched position. So from the base of the spine, let the movement flow upward until finally your head falls back and your face turns gently to the sky. And as you do this, try to visualize a continuous flow of waves up your spine. And if this is hard for you, just be gentle. It's okay if it's hard. You can also just imagine how this spinal wave can look and feel. We're going to move into creating an arch in the spine from right to left rather than backward and forward. And you're going to first start on the left, push your hip to the left, open up your left side body, raise your left hand above your head. Reach to the right side. Bring your left hand down gracefully. Come back to center. Push your right hip to the right. Gracefully lift your right arm. Open up your right side body. And reach to the left over your head. And you're doing this movement circle on the wall facing you. This is the second plane. Begin to draw this circle in one direction with your pelvis. You can combine up and down movement like bending and straightening the pelvis. And then switch to the other direction. Third circle is painted, the third plane is painted on the wall that runs on your side. So you can draw this circle by combining an up and down movement with forward and backward tilting your spine. And as you make these movements, focus on your navel. This is the beginning or end point of your spiral. And now move into figure eights with your hips. So to start, shift your weight onto your left foot and draw a pelvic circle starting from the right to the back, to the left, to the front, and again to the right. Let your weight shift into the right foot and draw a second circle, moving in the opposite direction from the left to the back, to the right, to the front left. And shift back onto the left leg and repeat here. When you feel called. And as you're doing so, connect with your breath. And here, in this place, you can come to resting, and I hope you feel loosened up. This is a connection with the energy of the serpent and with the energy of sexuality. Moving our pelvis really helps us connect with our sexuality and our creativity, our femininity. I hope you enjoyed and come to resting. You can rest in a sitting position.